Right now, we are seeing an historical decoupling happening from crypto to the stock market, and not in a positive way. And on today's update video, I am going to be basically zoom out here, analyze what has historically happened whenever this happened, and I'm going to show you exactly what is likely to be happening next with crypto. I'm going to talk about the massive interest rate cuts that are going to happen any moment soon here. I'm going to talk about what historically happened to Bitcoin whenever we get 2 rate cuts in a row. I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about the imminent short term. I'm going to talk about Bitcoin, the consolidation phase, and so much more on today's update video, including all the trades I've currently set up here and what I'm going to be doing next with these trades and Ethereum. So don't forget to once again watch this video till the end. It's going to be a very important one. Don't forget to slap that like button back above 1,000 likes. That will be highly appreciated. And let me jump straight away in today's update video. So to kick off this video straight away here, we are right now trading in a weekend, and usually over the course of weekends, we tend to see a little bit less price action, and that is exactly what we're getting this weekend around again here. So Bitcoin is slowing down ever so slightly. And usually what tends to happen over the course of the weekends with Bitcoin is that during the Sunday, we're going to start to see the volume pick up again here. So that is also what I'm expected is going to be happening today here. So today we could start to see some bigger moves once again return towards the market. Ultimately, Bitcoin is trading in this very important and big consolidation phase here on the 4-hourly time frame, where previously around we got massively rejected from off this level. Now we're also finding big support on the lower side, and just Bitcoin and Ethereum are both compressing in somewhat of a symmetrical triangle, which is about to be breaking out anytime soon over here. So that is of course what we're looking at right now on, let's say, the 4-hourly time frame. But in my opinion, what is very important to understand what is happening on the bigger perspective in the market right here is, of course, the massive decoupling from the stock market. Because if I'm looking at Bitcoin right now compared to the S&P 500, we can see the S&P 500 hitting new all-time highs, Bitcoin coming down. If I'm looking at Ethereum and compare it towards the Russell 2000, that is basically the smaller stock index in the United States of America, it has been hitting, of course, a new high, and Ethereum has been falling lower. And if you then start to zoom out on these charts, you can see that these charts basically move literally identical here. So where historically these charts have always moved in a very similar manner, now it is not happening. And of course, sometimes you can see that Bitcoin takes a bigger hit towards the downside, but also recovers quickly here. But also, if you just compare towards the previous occasions where we have seen the stock market hit new highs here, and where Bitcoin, of course, had a massive dump, we can basically see a very interesting correlation. So, for example, over here, you can see the stock market was hitting new highs, but Bitcoin was dumping. And what happened after? Well, the stock market was taking a hit towards the downside. It was Bitcoin actually that recovered back towards the top side. Ultimately, of course, due to the fact that the stock market had an even bigger dip, Bitcoin dipped towards the downside. But you can just see the strength that Bitcoin gained during this period, while before we were creating a major divergence. Also, if I'm looking, for example, to the Russell 2000, is it over here? You can see the Russell 2000 was setting new highs, while Ethereum was taking a big hit here. And eventually, Ethereum created a bottom and recovered extremely hard. Well, of course, the the Russell 2000 saw also a slight dip here, but ultimately Ethereum also dipped afterwards as well here. But basically, we can see that it did recover very quickly. And of course, there are many other occasions as well where exactly the same happened. And you can see over here as well, for example, how in exact manner they move with each other. And now we're seeing a decoupling. And historically, whenever we see a decoupling, eventually we're going to see the other asset catch up. Maybe the Russell 2000 is going to dump to catch up with ETH, or ETH is going to catch up towards the top side, right? And also exactly the same for the S&P 500 and Bitcoin. They just move in a very similar fashion. So that is something crucial to understand right now. And of course, I am not going to be approaching my trades differently right now, because I have, of course, if you've been watching the channel, set up these orders for a very long time right now here. My strategy remains to be the same. I am only going to be opening up my trades if Bitcoin takes that hit towards the downside, also for ETH here. So for that, nothing is going to be changing. But of course, I am going to clearly look at the market, and especially since it is right now weekend, it is difficult to exactly tell you what is going to be playing out here. But whenever we're going to see a breakout outside of this region, I am going to get a little bit more of a clearer opinion about where Bitcoin is really moving towards next year. And in my opinion, this is just a very important zone. If I'm also extending it here to the left here, you can see this level right here got us rejected, supported many times before here. This is such an important level here for Bitcoin. And now this is, of course, exactly the level where we got this major rejection from over here, where we got the rejection from over here. So even though we see the breakout towards the top side, what I want to be seeing is a confirmed breakout above the high. If we see a confirmed breakout above the high and a retest, then okay, I'm going to start to say, okay, maybe the bottom is already in right now, and we're going to see that continuation towards the upside. But as of for now, what I am seeing on the Bitcoin chart here is that we're creating a major dump towards the downside over here, right? Then we're creating a symmetrical triangle, which is a continuation pattern, and that is why I'm expecting a continuation down is going to be happening. So I'm still having my trades set up on the lower side, since I am still expecting that Bitcoin is going to fall towards that $100,000 level, where ultimately I think next sphere is going to be aligning with us, and next sphere is basically where I want to be buying here. So my strategy is not going to be changing. These are still my opinions I currently have on the market. Of course, the S&P 500 is hitting new all-time highs, but you also have to understand that it could potentially be the case and that it is not Bitcoin that is going to be catching up here, but the S&P 500 that's going to fall to catch up with Bitcoin. So of course, two things could be happening in this picture right here. So that is, of course, something I want you to understand right now. Bitcoin, of course, all these charts I'm showing you, ultimately, guys, it comes down towards the fact that now we are, of course, if we're looking at timings of this market, at the end stage of the Bitcoin bull market, actually. Because if we're looking back at all the previous cycles, they all lasted for 1,064 days, 1,064 days. And if I'm looking at the 1,064 days from bottom to high again, yeah, it marked the exact top in the market. Is this coincidence, or is this the top for Bitcoin? We, of course, have to see that in about 300 days from now on. But I am for certainly taking this with a lot of caution right now here. And of course, I am going in towards long positions, but only at levels where I think we could get a very strong bounce from. It doesn't mean that I'm going to be trading it towards new all-time highs, because I will be, of course, just look for a short-term bounce and then probably already exit my trades here. So I want you to understand also the timings of this market. I think it's getting increasingly more difficult and dangerous to open up big long positions in the market. Of course, if we break this trend line right here, this moving average, I'm sorry, then of course, I'm definitely going to start to get extremely worried in this market. But of course, I will keep you guys up to date in the VIP Telegram group, so make sure to join it using that second link in today's video description. In the Telegram group, it's not only me who's giving updates, but also 5 other professional traders. So make sure to join it for sure. And of course, if you want to be joining me with my trades there, and you're looking for a safe, reliable, and a cheap exchange out there, if you right now sign up an account using that first link below to WeX, you will get a 25% fee rebate and also deposit bonus up to $30,000. And if you're new on the exchange, you can get a free $10 to $100 coupon by binding your phone number and email. So make sure to check it out. It's super valuable, and these deposit bonuses are only available by signing up an account using that first link in today's video description. So check it out right now. It is very, very valuable. Then, I mean, I've got nothing more to really talk about on Ethereum, because Ethereum is ultimately creating this symmetrical triangle. It is about to squeeze out here. And yeah, you can just see a very similar pattern on ETH. It is a compressing pattern. And of course, the breakout is going to, in my opinion, get confirmed whenever we confirm the break above the range high, which is in the top side, the $4,100 level. On the lower side, the range low is about $3,700. So if we break this level, we're going to break bearish. If we break this level, we're going to break bullish. So that is just a simple opinion I currently have on ETH. There are 2 trades you can take here, depending on which direction we're going to be breaking out towards. So that is, of course, exactly how I'm looking and approaching ETH. For my trades on ETH, of course, I've set them up on the $3,300 level to about $3,500, because that is what I think is going to be the sweet spot for ETH here. So there's nothing more to talk about for me on today's update video. If you did learn something from this video, subscribe to the channel, slap on that like button, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out. Goodbye.